Adam Silver recently revealed shocking new plans for the NBA, and this could have huge implications on the New York Knicks, as this would benefit them more than anyone else so much based off their style of play and their head coach, Tom Thibodeau, who we were lied to about as Knicks fans when everyone said that Thibs is not a good coach and should be fired, and we're going to break all this down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into things as usual. If you guys are part of that 67% who aren't subscribed to the channel and you want daily New York Knicks news, rumors, updates, injury reports, a bunch of fun stuff, including TikToks and YouTube shorts, and a lot of fun live streams. Got a few different live stream segments like Happy Hour and Chris's Board. Make sure to subscribe to the channel right now. But let's jump into this. We're here to talk about the New York Knicks. And Adam Silver, the NBA's commissioner, the big cheese, if you will, decided to speak out on some potential plans that he might make for the NBA in the future. If you hear a siren in the background, that is because changes could be coming to the sport we know and love. Adam Silver recently revealed this isn't big enough. Adam Silver recently revealed potential changes to the NBA, saying the NBA is the only league that plays 48 minutes. I'm a fan of 4 10-minute quarters. Now, sports do a bit different things. The NFL has 60 minutes. Hockey has 60 minutes and 3 20-minute periods. Baseball obviously isn't a time sport. Basketball, 48 minutes. Most of these are flat 0-minute games or ending in a 0, really, I should say. 2 of them are hour long. The NBA is 48 minutes. Silver mentions the NBA is the only sport that's 48 minutes, and he might be making a change to that, and this would benefit the Knicks so much if it were a 40-minute basketball game, because if Adam Silver decides to do this, the New York Knicks, who have one of the best starting fives in basketball, are going to be cooking everyone, and that is because the entire Knicks starting lineup, but especially these two guys, and Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby, are workhorses who plan on playing heavy, insane minutes, along with how Tom Thibodeau coaches this Knicks team. Thibs is known for one thing more than anything else outside of coaching the New York Knicks. NBA fans know him as the guy who plays his starters an insane amount of minutes. Well, what if the NBA was a 40-minute game and Thibs is playing his starters, you guessed it, nearly 40 minutes per game? In the playoffs, the Knicks would become unstoppable with their lineup. Thibs already runs his guys very, very heavily, and we've seen it here. I mean, you look at the top 30 guys in minutes per game. You got Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, and OG Anunoby at 1, 2, and 3. Jalen Brunson's at 5. Anthony Edwards on the Timberwolves is at 4. And then Karl-Anthony Towns is at 29, despite the fact that he's missed a handful of games due to a hand injury. Now, on top of that, when it comes to minutes per game, Mikal Bridges is at number 1. You got Tyrese Maxey at number 2. You got Josh Hart at number 3. De'Aaron Fox, number 4. OG Anunoby at number 6. Look, Brunson and Towns playing the average amount of minutes for superstars, but the Knicks role players, and calling them role players is an undersell for how good these guys are, but the Knicks role players and OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, and Mikal Bridges play insanely heavy minutes, and if this was a 40-minute game, you're dealing with these guys already for 37 minutes a night. The NBA is going to become impossible when it comes to playing the New York Knicks. That wingstop defense is going to be out there the majority of the game. You're going to be in hell on defense. You're going to have Jalen Brunson coming at you with Karl-Anthony Towns for 35 of those 40 minutes. This changes literally everything for the New York Knicks, as then you still play them more than anyone else if Thibs is putting them out for still 36, 37 minutes a night. But then there's just 3 minutes without those guys. And yeah, the Knicks would go to like a 6-7-man bench in this situation. But think about the playoffs. You know Josh Hart's playing all 40. You know Mikal Bridges is probably playing nearly 40 minutes per game in the playoffs. Jalen Brunson's going to play around 38. Towns is going to play around 36. Who's beating that? Yeah, other teams will play their minutes heavily also, but this Knicks starting 5 is one of the most efficient starting 5s in basketball. Looking at it, they have the most minutes played. They have an excellent net rating. Their defensive rating is solid. Their offensive rating is one of the best in basketball as a 5-man duo. Of teams that play together a lot, the Knicks have a better offensive rating than most of these teams here. They have a better defensive rating than a couple of them also. Look, This New York Knicks group plays a lot of time together. They'd have better chemistry than anyone for all the time they've spent on the court. On top of that, they know how to win. They check all the boxes. Everyone knows the Knicks starting five is elite. The problem is the bench unit. Well, not if it's a 40-minute game. Then you just get some minutes out of Deuce McBride, Precious Achiuwa, Mitchell Robinson if he can come back, and that's all she wrote. That's a nice little 8-man rotation. Those guys playing 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. Starters playing 30-some-odd minutes per game, cooking everyone. This would make the Knicks the favorites for the NBA Finals if they were to move the game to 40 minutes. Now, I don't really believe the NBA is going to do this, but if they did, no one benefits more than the New York Knicks. But want to know who else benefits a lot? Role players who play for Tom Thibodeau. According to 29-year coach RAPM, a metric that was developed to measure the impact of NBA coaches, Tom Thibodeau is the third most impactful coach in the league. In other words, players who play more impactful basketball, specifically defense, when they're coached by Tom Thibodeau. So when Thibs players change teams, they are expected to perform worse under almost any other coach in the NBA. Does this mean teams should stop dealing with the New York Knicks entirely? Maybe not, but don't be surprised when ex-Thibs players underperform with their new team. And they said Tom Thibodeau is a bad coach. I've criticized Thibs for the minutes thing, but I've never called the man a bad coach. Look, there's some instances where you see this and you just got to agree. Namely, Dante DiVincenzo, who was on the New York Knicks, had a career year shooting 40% from three, over 40% from the corner, putting up 15 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists per game, also playing good defense, along with the great offense that he was playing. This season, he's taken a severe dip, putting up 11 points per game, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists, getting over a steal per game. His defense has been very good this season. Tomorrow is his birthday. That's nice. Happy birthday to Dante DiVincenzo tomorrow. But on top of all that, you have... This video might be coming out. This video is actually coming out on his birthday, so happy birthday to Dante DiVincenzo. But, look, 40% from the field, 37% from three. It's taken a dip from what it was, exactly like that metric said, and he's not the only one. Julius Randle went from a 24-10 guy to a 19-7 guy, putting up 19 points, 7 rebounds, 4.5 assists, not making the All-Star game for the first time in 3 years. Getting under a steal and a block per game, never a great defender. His shooting splits have not changed that much. 21% on corner threes, which is a massive drop-off from what he was with the New York Knicks. These guys, under Thibs, they stopped playing as well. But in the essence of fairness, let's talk about some guys who didn't get affected. Namely, R.J. Barrett, who's having the best season of his career. R.J. Barrett got traded off the New York Knicks last year into a much better situation with the Toronto Raptors, where they are not contending right now, and Barrett gets a lot of touches. Barrett's putting up 22 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. He should be an all-star. I want him to be an all-star. I love R.J. Barrett so much. 47% from the field, 35% from three. The numbers look good. 43% on corner threes. He's been good at that corner three shot. R.J. Barrett has proved people wrong, and Emmanuel Quigley has not played a bunch of games this year, but he as well, getting into a starting point guard role, I think is the real reason why his numbers have gone up. Obviously, Quick is a great player, but being on a starting lineup is clearly helpful, but the shooting percentages are down as well. Now, Quigley has spent a lot of time injured this season, so I wouldn't put too much stock into Manny's numbers right now. I do think he'll bounce back. I personally know IQ, and I trust that he's going to be very good, and these numbers are going to come back. His defense is great. He's a great player. I'm always going to ride for my guy, but he also has not really had that drop-off that we've seen with some guys. Isaiah Hartenstein has just stepped up, but Thibs is the coach who made Hartenstein into this beast, and that's what we're looking at. We're looking at a Knicks' entire starting five who's playing some of the best basketball of each of their careers, including Mikal Bridges at this point, under Tom Thibodeau. It's hard to say that Thibs isn't a great coach. Quentin Grimes also seeing success. Some of the younger guys, they got traded off the Knicks into better situations. Obviously, Isaiah Hartenstein, he left for, I don't want to say greener pastures, but he left for more money, which is completely understandable, and there's no shade towards Hartenstein for doing that. But where the New York Knicks stand now, it's clear Tom Thibodeau is an excellent coach, and he's the exact coach you want if the NBA goes to 40 minutes per game. Guys, let me know what you think about this. Would this entice you? Do you want it to be 40 minutes? I'll be honest, I don't. I don't want the time change to be a thing in basketball. I think 82 games is too many and that it probably should go to 70, but it obviously messes up all-time stats, which is just going to be its own issue. I think that's why the NBA is weary of doing stuff. I don't think this is going to happen, but it's interesting that Silver's gotten involved. It's because the games go too long, and look, there's ways around it that they're practicing in the G League. For instance, they're doing a free throw rule. They're doing a few different things. Also, something huge, start the games on time and maybe don't shove commercials in our face 24/7. I know you guys need money, but there's other ways to do it. You have all those ads on the court, and giving us commercials every 5 seconds and making the final 5 minutes of the fourth quarter in a close game last 45 minutes is not the way to keep people enticed in a sport that's supposed to be a very free-flowing sport. So maybe address those changes instead of making it a 40-minute game. I don't think that's where the problem lies. I think the problem lies elsewhere. But we could talk about that another time. We'll do that on a live stream. We'll talk about that on a live stream. If you guys want to tune into those live streams, we have one every Friday at 6 p.m. called Happy Hour. I created Happy Hour with my former roommate, who I'm a co-host with at Jets Digest. My guy from college, Matt. We do Happy Hour. Dariel's on it as well. You'll also get a ton of other content from us on TikTok if you want to subscribe to us there or follow us there. On top of that, you can find me on the TikTok and the YouTube Shorts. You can find me on Jets Digest or Yankees Digest, and soon MMA Digest as well. If you want to see more of this ugly face, there you go. Guys, thank you for listening. If you're still here, you're the GOAT. Have a great day, and go Knicks.